this one's really out of sync, but this is a sort of a folk image. It's on wood panel, and it probably was painted to be inside a room in a wall of paneling, and we call it an overmantle picture. But what is going on here is, if you imagine, if you know Maine coast, it's rocky, up around, what is it? Acadia. That's basically what it looks like. It's really rocky, and as you head west, the great eagle is feeding her young. And the two babies right here are being fed probably a salmon, and you're heading west and probably all the way to the west coast. And so this is really showing the flourishing of America through a landscape painting done by a naive artist as compared to the ropes painting that was extremely academic, well-trained artist, knew exactly what he was doing. But this one, unfortunately, we don't know who did it, but it's so naive, but it tells a great story of the flourishing of America. This was probably done around 1860, maybe 1870. California was already discovered, the West was discovered, and and these great snow-covered mountain peaks. So that's why I went and got it, so that, I mean, it shows a whole story, the landscape painting of America. And you can see it's painted on a chestnut board. And chestnut was a wood that was used for secondary wood in Rhode Island, primarily. So we don't know where it was painted, but the chestnut board certainly gives us some kind of a inclination that perhaps it was painted perhaps in Rhode Island, maybe.
Another use of kind of allegorical landscape painting we find on this great little sewing table that was made in probably southern Maine, Portland or Bath area around 1790 to 1810. And this great little schoolgirl decorated table shows the allegory and really interesting combination. On the top of the hill in the center, you see the castle, and kind of this schoolgirl idea of the castle and the prince. And then in the foreground, in the lower left, you have the farmhouse with the farmer and the cows crossing the bridge on the lower right. And it really shows that use of the landscape painting, again, as an allegory for a vehicle for other expressions. It's not really a pure landscape painting, but the landscape is being used to express a certain idea or ideals that were connected to the schoolgirl education. And then, we've probably, most of you have seen this, the landscape decoration continues on the front and on both sides. So it really is interesting. And on this side, there's a little view of mom in the yard, working in the garden. And then on this side, there's a view of dad with his grinding wheel and his axe heading out to the wood to prepare some firewood. So again, kind of has the meaning in the allegory behind the landscape painting.